Hello everyone, myself Dr. Brijesh Shankarrao Deshmukh. Welcome you all in our today's session. Today we are going to check out 2.5 Father Returning Home, the very poem which is written by Dilip Chitre sir. This poem is dedicated by Dilip Chitre sir to his beloved father. Like every other father, Dilip Chitre sir's father also worked much hard to fulfill the needs of the family and to offer the better life to one and all family members. So let's check it out. Dilip Chitre sir's Father Returning Home poem. The very poem explains the commuter's life. Commuters, those are traveling on daily basis. It shows the picture of Mumbai's hectic life, and Mumbai is running because of its lifeline, and the lifeline of Mumbai is its railway. So let's check it out or have the basic information about our Dilip Chitre sir, the writer of the poem. He was born on 17 September 1938 and died on 10th December 2009. He is one of the most famous, well-renowned Indian writer and critic, well known as a blog writer, painter, and emerged in post-independence in India. He is known as a bilingual poet who has notably contributed in English and Marathi language literary work. Except that, he is also known as a painter and filmmaker. He was born in Baroda and his family moved to Mumbai in 1951. In 1960, he has published his first collection of poems. Also, Dilip Chitre sir has received the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award both for poetry as well as for his well-known translation work named as Sestuka, which is popular Abhangas, spiritual poems by Sant Tukaram. He had started translation of literary work of saints in Marathi at the age of 16. Now, let's check it out the basics of this poem. What is this poem about? The poem is based on alienation of the elderly in modern world, then isolation of old age, estrangement from family, loneliness in modern cities, modernization, loss of historical and cultural identities, and the most important thing, as I have said, the setting of this poem is in Mumbai, which is in India. Now, check out the poem. Father Returning Home. My father travels on the late evening train, standing among silent commuters in the yellow light. Suburbs slide past his unseen eyes. His shirt and pants are soggy, and his black raincoat stained with mud, and his bag stuffed with books is falling apart. Check this out. The basics, opening 5 lines. My father travels on the late evening train, standing among the silent commuters in the yellow light. His father leaves the house early in the morning to catch his day-to-day work, and it gets him very late to come at home. The time he is coming back to the home, that time eventually the lights of the trains are on, where the yellow dim lights seems that the paleness of the life. Then suburbs slide past his unseeing eyes. Through the hectic work of the day, his father now became so tired that he is not even having any observation outside of the window. As he has received a small place to sit in the train, somehow he has adjusted himself in that Mumbai's rush, and now he is silently sitting over there with his dim eyes. He is so tired that he is not even interested to observe the suburbs, those are sliding past. Suburb means the nearby areas of the cities. His shirts and pants are soggy, and his black raincoat stained with mud, and his bag stuffed with books. His bag is stuffed with books which is falling apart. This is now the rainy season, and due to the rainy season his clothes are little bit soggy, little bit wet. Though he is having the raincoat, though he is wearing the raincoat, it is also stained as the dust came on it. And in his bag he is carrying the books. It shows that he is a great lover of reading, but the books are falling apart. It means he hasn't managed them, he hasn't put them in a proper way. He has just put them or stuffed them into his sack, which is carrying every single day to his commutes. His eyes, dimmed by age, fade homeward through the humid monsoon night. His eyes dimmed by age, it means now he seems quite old, and he is now totally tired that traveling every single day through the local in a hectic rush, running after the timetable of the railways and all it, and working throughout the day into the office. It became so monotonous for him, and now he's so tired, but for fulfilling the duties of the families he has to go for the work. Now I can see him getting off the train. Writer explains that this is like the evening time when his father comes off the train. Like a word dropped from a long sentence. This sentence is so meaningful. Like a word dropped from a long sentence. You know the way from the long sentence, if we remove a single word, that does not make any difference to that sentence. In the same way, in that train, from the train, the time his father gets down, it does not make any difference to any other commuter, any other traveler of the train. Generally, when we are traveling with our friends, the time our friend he or she is getting down from the train or from the bus, we generally says goodbye. It's a sign of greetings. But here his father is so lonely, no one is there whom he can say goodbye or to see you tomorrow. With the loneliness, with the lonely heart, he gets off from the train and he goes for his duties. As he is coming to the home now, he hurries across the length of the grey platform. He hurries across the length of the grey platform. Here the grey platform is so symbolically expresses the age of his father. Grey platform, it means that his father is also now getting old. He is close to his oldness. Then crosses the railway line, enters the lane. His chappals are sticky with the mud, but he hurries onwards. Check this out. With a rush, he has crossed the railway path and enters to the lane. His chappals. Now here the chappals, the word has used in a code switching. Code switching is a concept in a language where we can borrow a word from any other language. It can be from Marathi, it can be from Hindi, English, or combining any two languages. So code switching, borrowing a word or two. So chappals, it's in Marathi, and in English we call it shoes. His chappals are sticky with mud, but he hurries onwards. Now he is in a rush to go to the home, as he is so tired. He wanted to get fresh, he wanted to get relaxed by reaching at the home. The way every one of us, we are like having the feeling after the work, after attending some outdoor chores and all, we feel that okay, we should go home and feel safe and relaxed. In the same way, his father is having the feeling. But do you think that will it turn into the same way in a positive way? Let's check this out. When he comes home again, I see him drinking a weak tea, eating a stale chapati, reading a book. He goes into the toilet to contemplate man's estrangement from a man-made world. Check out these lines. The time he comes home, he is having in a regular routine, he is having his weak tea, eating a stale chapati. Stale chapati, it means that the chapati which is made, or the roti, in Indian way we call it chapati, in proper English we call it Indian bread. After having that stale chapati, it means basi chapati, or jo chapati subha banai hai. So after having that, he is doing some readings and all, and after that he goes to the toilet to contemplate man's estrangement from a man-made world. Estrangement, it means the alienation, and contemplate means deep thinking. He is going to the toilet to just think about what is happening around me, what I had dreamed about about the family, what I had dreamed about the children, that everyone will come close to me, will give me a tight hug, will talk to me, will share their jokes and everything. My wife will speak to me with an affection. But now, in the case of his father, everything has turned it down. That he is so all alone. Even he is having the food which has been prepared early in the morning, and that food he is having at the night after coming from his office. He is feeling so loneliness. And then after that, coming out, he trembles at the sink. After getting fresh, the time he comes to wash his hands, he is trembling. He is feeling little bit weakness, as he is so isolated. No one is there to care him, to talk to him some affectionate words. The cold water running over his brown hands, a few droplets cling to the graying hairs on his wrist. Check this out. Now the water cannot run, so it means it is personified. The human quality is given to the water. That water is running from his hand. The time he is washing his hands, he is just like, he is so pale, he is so dull. He is just like monotonously doing his day-to-day routines and moving ahead to the life. And now the white or the gray hairs, it symbolizes that he is so old. His sullen children have often refused to share jokes and secrets with him. Sullen means the rude, stubborn. The children are like they have lost in their own world. Their children must remember that if you are young today, one day you are going to grow old. You are going to have the responsibilities on your shoulder in the course of time. Do remember, the way you will behave with your young ones, in the same way the young ones are going to treat you in your old age. So this is the lifelike lesson Dilip Chitresar has given over here, that his children, they are so busy in their own stuff, nobody is there to talk to him nor to share their jokes or secrets with their own father. So he is feeling so lonely. He will now go to sleep, listen to the static on the radio, dreaming of his ancestors and grandchildren, thinking of nomads entering a subcontinent through a narrow pass. Now it is the night time. Even while going to the bed, nobody is there to ask him, Papa, how was your day? क्या आज आपको बहुत काम था, आज आप बहुत ज़्यादा थके हुए लग रहे हो? No, nobody is there to ask him or to inquire him about anything. The time we share our secrets, the time we talk to our dear ones with our family members, we feel so relaxed. But in the case of his father, things are totally different. He is going to the bed by having a radio, and he is listening that radio with the difficult signal. Static means even a weak signal making a sound like khar and all those things. And with the dream, he is sleeping, and in his dream he is seeing that the ancestors and grandchildren. Do you know, in an few years back, not so long, 30 to 40 years back on today, there was a good family system where the young ones, old ones, everyone used to sit together, family, they used to have celebrations together, they used to have their lunch, dinner, everything together. And in togetherness, it holds or it maintains the bonds of the family. But here we can see that the bonds are become weak, and it is not just about the case of Dilip Chitresar or about his father. It is the fact of our society nowadays. Everyone prefers to the nuclear family. But as I have said, do think about it. The way you are going to think about the nuclear family, the upcoming generation is also going to step on to your own steps. Okay, then thinking of nomads entering a subcontinent through a narrow pass. He's watching the dream of nomads. Nomads means a tribes or the people or a specific group. Those are always moving from one place to another place. They are always shifting their families, or they are shifting along with the family from one place to another place, are known as the nomads. So here indirectly he is explaining to us that though they are moving from one place to another place, those nomads, at least they are living together, and being togetherness is like that Dilip Chitresar's father is missing, and that's what he is dreaming in his sleep. So check this out. This poem is so beautifully explained by Dilip Chitresar about his father's journey. Now, in a quick, we will have the discussion about figure of speeches of the very poem. In the very poem, you can see that the poem has covered transfer of epithet, paradox, repetition, alliteration, metaphor, personification. Now, check out this first line, very first line of the poem. My father travels on the late evening train. Here, T sound has been alliterated. So, this is alliteration. Then, into the second line, standing among silent commuters in the yellow light. Here, standing and silent, S sound has been alliterated. Line number 3, suburbs slide past his unseeing eyes. This line is carrying two figure of speeches, which is paradox and transfer of epithet. So check out the first paradox. In the very line, this line, eyes are described as unseen and it is unbelievable or absurd. And transfer of epithet is also there in the same line, that suburbs slide past his unseeing eyes. The epithet unseeing has transferred from the poet to his eyes. After that, line number 4, his shirt and his pants are soggy and his black raincoat. Here, his has been alliterated. It has been repeated twice. HIS, this pronoun has been repeated twice. So, it goes into the repetition. Now, check out the next slide which is open in front of you. In this slide, I will put a light on the example of transfer of epithet, that is fade homeward through the humid monsoon night. This is the example of transfer of epithet. The epithet humid is transferred the weather to the night. Then after that, check out. Now I can see him getting off the train like a word dropped from a long sentence. These two lines contains simile. Here, now I can see him getting off the train like a word dropped from the long sentence. That father, his comparison has been done with the word. Then into the next slide, check this out. He hurries across the length of the grey platform. This line contains metaphor. Now, what is metaphor? It is indirect comparison or indirectly compared with the old age of poet's father. That grey platform has indirectly compared with poet's father. Now I am moving ahead towards the next slide. Yes, you can check this out here. The last line of the present slide, man's estrangement from a man-made world. That M sound has been alliterated. So this is alliteration. And don't forget the example of code switching. Okay, chapati, that is code switching. Now the slide which is open in front of you. Here you can see the cold water running over his brown hands. This is transfer of epithet. The transfer of epithet brown is transferred from the man to his hands. Okay, except that the same line is carrying one more figure of speech, that is personification, which is the line, the cold water running over his brown hands. Running, water cannot run by itself, so human quality has given to the water, which is personified. Then the next example is a few droplets cling to the graying hairs on his wrist. In this line, we can observe the figure of speech synecdoche, graying hair, which represents the whole body, okay, which represents the entire idea. So what is synecdoche? Synecdoche represents the entire idea. Graying hair, it indirectly indicates the old age, and in old age every human becomes or grows with the graying hair. Then the next figure of speech is listening to the static on the radio. Static, this is the sound, so it goes into onomatopoeia. Now I have explained each and every figure of speech into the detail through this video. Now here, for your detailed understanding, I have prepared the appreciation of the poem Father Returning Home. You can refer, but do remember that while writing the appreciation of the poem, you must cover up the points that first of all comment about the title, then theme, poetic style, language, poetic devices used in the poem, and don't forget to explain at least a single figure of speech in poetic devices with their detailed example, then special feature, message, or what you feel your own opinion. So this is one example, and one more sample of the same poem, Father Returning Home, has been prepared for you. So must go through by pausing this video. You can check out all those preparations, all those specially prepared things for you, and I wish the best for you. Must go through this video clearly, and if you have any doubt for the questions, for your comments, feel free to talk to me, and must do comment in my comment box. Thank you, God bless you, and I wish the best score you should earn in an upcoming board exam. God bless you. Thank you.